Well, I guess I kind of told a little bit of a fib when I said I was all done here now and could put the seat in. After I got to thinking about it, I realized there was a couple more things I needed to do. One of them was this ground wire for the push-to-talk switch. They have a push-to-talk switch in the pilot's control stick, and basically all it does is ground out the mic circuit so the mic will switch on. And so it's just a switch running to ground. It's just a cable running to ground. So I need a ground here tied in. Ordinarily it would just tie the ground into one of this posts like here, this bolt that goes through this bearing for the torque tube. But I've been real conscientious with this airplane about keeping everything painted and insulated. And everything I scratched or put on, I either powder coated or painted. And every bolt and screw and stuff like that I've put on, I've put peralkatone on. All that stuff has a tendency to inhibit electrical connectivity. So what I've done here to maintain a good positive ground, even though that did ground out when I was checking the mic on this bolt here, I ran a ground. This is a ground that I put in for the battery. That goes in nut plate and it goes right into the structure here on the airplane. This is I think it's a hold down for the brake pedals or the brakes and stuff here. Anyway, it's a big flat surface. I cleaned that off real well, put a nut plate on there, big washer and stuff like that, so I've got a good positive ground there. And this is the lead for the battery. Well, when I put that in, I put a second lead in right here. I just now ran it over to this bolt right here then for this bearing and doubled up on this lead right here. This will go for the ground on the switch. And I put a quick connector on it. On this end it's just a little pin. Sometimes you have to take the control stick out and work on it or get in there so you can get in and work underneath the instrument panel or something. It's a heck of a lot easier to do that with the stick out than it is with it in. Rather than just cut the wires and put a new splice on every time, I just put a quick connector on there. I put one there, and this is the lead coming from the radio. Ordinarily, for most stuff, you can kind of polarize these. You got a female pin and a male pin, and I kind of polarize them so that they don't get the wrong one connected into the wrong thing. But in this case, it doesn't matter because the switch is just going to ground, and the switch doesn't care which side is the wire goes to or anything. It just turns on. You push the switch and it comes on, connects and runs through the ground. One of the things you don't want to do is be able to plug this wire that comes from the radio directly into the ground. So I put both female connectors on these two wires, and I'll put both male connectors on the control stick wires where they come out. Now, the other thing that I have to do is to put down wear plates, skid plates or wear plates, heel plates, something like that in here. I need those up front where my heels go for steering the airplane, and I also need them back here in the back where the passenger scrubs his feet on the floor. I could do that after the seat was in, but everything's a heck of a lot easier to work on without that seat there in the way. Well, here's the control stick. You get the wires coming out of it, and these are just, I guess they're 20 gauge wires or something like that. So I have to solder these pins on there. They're just not big enough to crimp on. These are the male pins, and this is the cover that goes over that. And the nice thing about these, you can put the pins on and then just slide the cover on over the top of it, and it snaps on instead of having to worry about putting it on first and then sliding it over after the fact. How many times have we put a pin on or something like that and then realized you didn't put the piece on the wire that needs to slide on it? I'm not putting the control stick in yet. I'll just get that done and get it out of the way. I've got the grip pads, the scuff plates put in there. I had stainless steel plates in there before, and the guys are complaining that when their feet were wet they'd slide around in there and they couldn't get purchase with their feet on the floor and get out. I thought about going ahead and cutting some aluminum and putting in there and then putting this stuff on it, but I just put this stuff straight on the floor. It's called Gator Grip. Got it at Alaska Industrial Hardware in Anchorage when we picked the fuselage up. It's expensive as heck. We'll see how well it holds up. It seems like it's pretty good. It's pretty heavy duty stuff, and it's got a good grip on it. It's got good adhesive backing. So we got two long strips back here in the back seat where the passenger's feet go and stuff. And then I put two shorter strips up there for heel plates for the rudders, and I've got them kind of canted in a little bit. They're kind of toed out because my heels are usually in a little bit and my toes out when I'm flying. And then I put two smaller pieces in back a little bit farther just to get purchase on with my feet when I slide out of the airplane there. That pretty much finishes up the inside here, and now I can go ahead and put the seat in. This is the stuff here. Get it out of the glare. Gator grip. Comes in a big long roll. 4 inches wide by 60 feet. Jeez, 60 feet. And I used 16 inches on the back and 8 inches and 6 inches on the front. So 16 and 14, I used 30 inches. This is what the roll looks like. It's got a real heavy vinyl backing on it to protect the adhesive layer. Oh, it's really, seems like it's pretty good stuff, but for the price of it, it should be. And I don't even remember what it costs now. It's been 4 years ago since I bought it, or 3 years ago. So some things it's better to forget.